The fourth part of the presentation on the vision paper, Securing Tibet's Future, has to do with enhancing CTA's administrative efficiency and capacity. So in the last three videos, we already covered the section Why Tibet Matters on geopolitical status, importance of Tibet, spiritual and cultural significance of Tibet, environmental significance of Tibet, current policies and programs of the Chinese government inside Tibet that are aimed at removing destroying the very identity of the Tibetan people, and then the way forward, the middle way approach. In the second section, we talked about our first responsibility, resolving the Sino-Tibet conflict, and in the third section, we covered how the CTA is responsible and how CTA intends to move ahead into the future in terms of welfare of Tibetans in exile. Now, this fourth section is to do with, as I mentioned before, increasing the capacity of the CTA and its people who are working in the CTA. So the first part is to create a very sound database. Unfortunately, Tibetans so far have not focused on database. Tibetans are not very good at numbers, if I could say that, because whenever you ask a Tibetan how many, they would say many, but how many, they have no numbers. So only now we have started focusing on numbers. Now these numbers will be very, very useful in analyzing the trend or the changes that are going to happen. And this will give us an idea about how or what challenges we will need to face into the future. So before the actual challenge comes into being, we should be able to resolve those challenges even before it comes in. So that is where our main responsibility lies, and for that, this database is very, very important, not just the demographic numbers of Tibetans, but in every single department will need to correspond their data with other data so that all the data are same, and these data will be the barometers for setting up policies and programs into the future. Now, the structure itself is also quite good, but then again, as I mentioned before, we have to change the structure of the departments to now focus on delivery of services, not so much on the finance side, because that is the responsibility of the finance department. Then of structure in decision making, such structure in service delivery, and all those, it's being worked out. And by July this year, we'll be forming the second workforce commission, and this workforce commission will also focus on how the human resource within the departments and how this can enhance the capacity of the CTA civil servants. The second one is, of course, over the last 2 years also, one reason is because of the pandemic that we have not been able to go out as much as we wanted to internationally or nationally. So all those times we spent working on the administrative structure and regulations. Now, to change certain administrative structures, we also need to change the regulations, the rules and regulations, which we have managed to do to some extent, but we will need another 3-4 months to finish with all our administrative amendments and regulations, where there are many other guidelines, many other directives, rules of the administration itself, which needs to be updated from time to time. And all these take a lot of time. But we have managed to complete, I think, more than half of those guidelines and directives that has been updated. And there's still some 7-8 rules and regulations that need to be updated, which I think we should finish in the next 3-4 months. And then while handling this administration also, as the departments focus on service delivery, then all these systems and processes also needs to be developed for transparency, and also the forms will have to be designed in such a way that the database that is collected from those forms will have use into the future for planning. And then the fourth one is based on our experience over the last 2 years. We have been going around the settlements, collecting needs of the community. Now, all those needs of the community have been collected. One of the responsibility of the departments will also be to look for new needs of the community, to make sure that those needs are fully justified in terms of feasibility, implementation, and sustainability. So based on those needs, now we are going to have a donors meet this year, and we will explain to the donors as to where their funds are coming in and where our needs are going, because the needs and the funds has to come head on with each other. Only then can the Tibetan people's needs can be addressed. So for that, we have, based on the needs that we have already collected, we have already segregated those programs into the next 3 years of 23, 24, 24, 25, 26, 27. Of course, we have to prepare the 26, 27 budget before the next cabinet comes in. So it has been, most of the programs have been distributed into the next year. This will also help us in devising our budget. Now it is much more easier because needs have already been collected and streamlined. So budgetary processes will also become much more easier, and we can plan for longer. That is what we have achieved in the last 2 years. Now the fifth one is upgrading capacity of civil servants. Now, as people who are a little bit on the know, when they come to Kashag Kishon, they will know that now most of the senior civil servants have retired. The population that has come from Tibet, inside Tibet, they have retired. Now it is the first generation that were born in India, like myself, who are taking the responsibility, and people who are younger to me. And if you come to Kashag Kishon, you will realize that most of the civil servants are very, very young people. So even though they have very good qualifications, they may still be lacking in knowledge and decision-making processes. So it is very important for us to empower them, make them understand the nature of their job, the surroundings, and expose them to as many situations as possible so that they will be able to handle problems, resolve problems. That is our job. So for that, the civil servants themselves will also have to spend some time to understand our situation, to read books as much as possible, understand the past so that we can move forward into the future. And we are also thinking, of course, there have been a lot of workshops. Sometimes we feel that there is an overburden of workshops on civil servants, but then it has to be designed in such a way, from the time of recruitment to training to embarking on their regular jobs, they have to be empowered in a manner that they can use all the free apps for database, and there are many things that can be used to increase your capacity. So all means will be adopted to make sure that civil servants gain the capacity that they are expected to in fulfilling or rendering their services. Then, of course, we have not lagged behind in using computers. Even in the mid-80s, Central Tibetan administration had been using computers. Even now, we have not fallen way behind in using technology. So therefore, in future also, we don't want to be left behind. Therefore, the 16th Cabinet will also focus on a lot of digitization and e-governance work. Digitization involves all the past documents from 1950. If we don't digitize, scan those, and then formulate those in a manner that could be easily searched, then our history will also be lost. Our history in exile will also be lost. So that is why, including official documents, there will be a lot of digitization work. It's quite a huge volume of work if you look at files from 1959 to till now. That is one thing, but going forward into the future, we have already initiated e-filing within the Central Tibetan Administration in Dharamsala. So the next step will be to reach out to the officers of Tibet and the settlement officers, thereby we can move forward in e-governance. We have already started working with our Estonian friends. The Estonians were also here. We sent our people to Estonia also, since they are the best in e-governance as of today. We intend to learn from them and make sure that e-governance as a norm that is suitable under our circumstances, because our population is very scattered, and e-governance, we feel, is the way forward for future governance. So these are the areas that we intend to work, and I hope, of course, I'm not in my best speaking about all this right now, but hopefully you will, through these presentations, focus more on reading, both in English and the Tibetan. Soft copies are very much available on tibet.net, and it's very important for you to, whether you make a constructive contribution or a criticism, it has to be based on facts, and it has to be based on holistic knowledge of where the CTA is going. Then only will you be able to comment or write your recommendations, and we will be very happy to receive your feedback, if any, based on facts and reason. And if there is enough reason, then we will not shy away from taking up those initiatives also. But if there is not enough reason, then we should be in a position to explain to you as to why we are not able to do this. So as I mentioned in the beginning also, this is a living document. Even though it's printed, the first copy is printed, this is a living document. Some sections of this document will be revised from time to time, and a part of this document can also be segregated to use it to the donors. Part of this document can also be used as advocacy material. So you will find many use for this document in your day-to-day advocacy work. And I hope with this structure, you will be able to build more of your knowledge on Tibet. And during this presentation also, I think there will be many links that will be provided to you in future if you want to study every single issue in depth. We should be able to provide you, we should be in a position to provide you with all this information. So thank you very much, and I really look forward to more cooperation and participation from the general public. Please don't think that you have voted somebody and that person will take all the responsibility. It's not enough. Sekyong is there, Kashag is there. The Kashag also spent a lot of time, all the cabinet ministers spent a lot of time developing this document, and we are all committed to carrying forward what is enshrined in this document. The Central Tibetan Administration civil servants should be all the more aware about this document, study this document, look at all the list of programs that are there inside, and start working on it without the seniors having to tell you exactly what to do on every single day, on every single issue. There has to be a lot of things coming out of you by using your mind and your capacity. And if all the Tibetans can pool their collective energy together, I'm sure we will be able to achieve our objectives. So please work towards it. We are committed to doing that. We are committed to abide by His Holiness guidance on all political matters and welfare matters. And it is very important that we do not forget what His Holiness has done for us all his life. If it is not for His Holiness, or if it is not for the government of India, we would not be where we are today. So, considering, remembering the benevolence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in whichever small way possible, we have to work for our cause. If we don't work, nobody else will. Therefore, please join forces with the CTA to make sure that our objectives are met. Thank you so much. Tutshe.